Gwen, what's up?
What's up?
Another Wicked Wednesday.
Yes, it
and
is.
I am looking forward to this. We are continuing on. Hey, Blaine, we are continuing on our trend this month of Women of the Paranormal for Women's History Month. We got one more week to go, and then we can jump back into circulation of some of the other upcoming guests. And I've got a lot of great stuff coming. So,
Yes.
But how's everything going for you where you're at?
Oh, pretty good, Russ. Man,
Russ, how you doing, brother?
How are ya? Yeah, everything's pretty good. Honestly, just getting on with it and busy.
I would ask if you're working hard or hardly working, but I already know the answer.
I'm actually working hard for real. So.
But going back to what we were talking about in the pre-show, I definitely think when I go to shave this off, I'm gonna at least do a week of mutton chops just to see what the hell it looks like.
Oh, that. Where are you, Morgan? Help me out. Those things are awful.
They are hideous. I'm thinking like maybe do that like maybe down to here, and then the little separation with the full goatee thing.
To take a picture, absolutely. No, not after that though. That's the no.
You know what? I would probably do it just to take a picture and be like, hey, check this out. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this being gone because like. I mean, I know why I'm growing it out, but let me tell you, it's annoying when you wake up and you've got like beard hair on your tongue and you don't know if like in your sleep are you trying to munch on your mustache or what the fuck is going on.
You could have been hungry, man. Who knows?
I don't know, but let me tell you, it is annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we got a great show lined up tonight. Tonight, our guest, I'm going to call her a sensitive.
Okay.
Not exactly sure in the pre-show there's different ways she likes to word things. We're just going to go with sensitive for this at the moment. Paranormal investigator, author, former member of the Warren Legacy Foundation, not to be confused with Nesper because they are two different entities.
Right.
But so I'm really looking forward to this, and so please everyone, welcome to the Paranormal Unveiled Family, Miss Nicole Gaspard.
Hi,
Nicole.
Thank you for having me. Hi, guys.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. How about y'all?
Doing well, and I appreciate you coming on the show for an hour to chat with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So the first thing I want to start off with, because I like to jump straight into questions sometimes, I would like to ask, so you said in your bio that you had the, I guess you could say, ability to sense spirits from a very young age.
Right.
So could you tell us what that was like, growing up, having this ability? Like, how did it affect you?
Obviously, it had a tremendous effect on my life from the early start. And I always knew there was something more out there. Like, there's got to be something out there, which brought me to my faith first in Christian from a young age. And usually, our line of work is kind of frowned upon because of our faith. But I try not to let that hinder my abilities. I know he didn't give it to me for no reason. So,
True.
God, our source, a lot of people have different names.
True. That's fair. So would you say did many people know that you had this ability? Let me word it that way. Or did you kind of keep that to yourself?
Well, obviously I share a lot of my experiences in my podcast. So I don't have any secrets. I'm all out.
Oh no. Misunderstanding on that question. I meant when you were younger and first understanding the abilities, did you talk with anybody about it, or you just kind of keep it to yourself back then?
Most of the time I kept it to myself because my family is, what do you call it, not open or skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
More skeptical. I try to be both skeptical and believer.
Right.
And I can only confide in like one or two people in my family. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm not going crazy,
That's always the plus side, is when you find out you're not going nuts.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, there's been many times I thought I was going nuts with things I've experienced in the past. And it's like, well, wait a minute, other people are having these things happen to them too.
Yeah, same here.
Right.
Especially when I was told as little that, you can't tell anybody. So.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with, the faith that you were raised in. Because I know most Catholics, they frown upon it. Luckily for me, being when I was raised Southern Baptist for the most part, and they were more accepting of it.
Same here.
Yeah, so they were a little bit more accepting of it. They still frowned upon it,
Mhm.
but
True.
they weren't objective to the idea of the plausibility.
Right. That's what I don't
So
really understand, because they preach about it and then some of the stuff, I don't know. It's
yeah,
weird.
it's confusing. It's confusing
It
the way that
is.
they do it because they preach you can't do this, but if you go to them in confidence, they'll be like, oh well, that's interesting, and they don't shun you for it.
No,
No.
I don't.
But it's just weird how the difference between what they preach and what they practice. Let me word it that way.
I can
Exactly
tell you
right.
one thing, if I may.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a really profound experience. So I first started hearing the spirits probably like 5 or 6. And you know how my grandparents, kind of were here, my grandparents used to live in a trailer house. And you know how small they are. But as soon everybody decided to go outside, but for some reason I stayed behind in the house by myself. Or I thought I was by myself. And then all of a sudden I heard this evil laughter of a male. And you can see my face is turning whiter than it is now. It's turning snow white. You know, experience something, you turn shades of color. I do anyway.
Yeah, I mean, because that is something that obviously shook you to your core, I would assume.
And
Yes.
I didn't quite understand back then, like I do now. Like, oh, I brush it off.
Right, right. So if you would have to tabulate it, about how long would you say that you've been actively in the paranormal field?
I would say most all my life.
That's fair because, well, technically that's fair because of the abilities.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But so did
I'm, I would
go
say
ahead.
about my late 20s.
Okay, okay.
My
I
curiosities. Yeah.
I also saw that you're a former member of the Warren Legacy Foundation.
Yeah, for a good couple of years.
So what is it like working with them? I've heard great things.
Yeah. They did a lot of, investigations, and I got to be part of, because I could do remote viewing as well. So I could do that for their cases. Let me tell you one thing. A lot of times I don't ask for specific details, like for mediums, you don't give them details.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, I want to try something else. Give me the details this time. And then all of a sudden, I was right there. Energetically, felt right there. And I don't know if that's astral traveling or remote view, maybe a little bit of both. 'Cause I know I did both.
I
I
would think
scared that poor lady.
I would think it was a mixture of both, possibly.
Yeah.
I've always wondered if people were able to see us when we are remote viewing or astral traveling.
I mean, I would assume if the energy was correct and the situation and circumstances were correct, I don't know why they wouldn't be able to see you.
And the right person. And the
Right.
right person. Yeah.
We saw each other, and I scared this poor lady. I didn't mean to scare her, you know. Like, oh, so not like my life.
Right. So another question that I wanted to touch on, mainly just because it was in your bio, right? So you said that you've always had issues with speech and hearing and such, right?
Yeah,
Do you
unfortunately.
feel like that? Do you feel like that's ever been a hindrance in your journey through the paranormal?
Actually, no.
No.
Because I think spirits can relate to my disabilities, and they understand, and I can connect with them more, I guess, because of my
Well,
disabilities.
I would kind of chalk that up for me to how I would look at it is when people have issues with certain senses, like say taste, smell, sight, whatever. Whenever one sense
All the
is kind of
flavors.
downed, the other one's heightened.
Right, that's what I was going to say, yeah, because the words out of my mouth.
So in all actuality, it kind of is more of a help in this circumstance.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
It's
So,
like, you know, if you can't see, you know, you can hear better.
Yep.
sorry, I got a
Kind
hair
of
stuck
thing.
in between one of my teeth.
You and this beard, I don't know if we're gonna make it, man.
I don't know if I'm going to, but it's like right in the middle of my front two teeth.
Oh yeah.
I'll be like, shake your.
So Nicole,
So-
do you wear a hearing
Thank you,
aid?
Gwen.
I'm sorry, I'm just curious.
Oh, I did, but I got annoyed with them, so I just leave them out.
When you let me say this, when you do wear it, or say you
It's
wear it to
funny.
an investigation and then you turn it off for some reason or take it out, can you tell
I
the
just take them
difference?
out. Oh yeah,
Uh,
people even notice that I speak up more when I have them on. 'Cause
Okay.
I have a soft voice. I admit I have a soft voice, and I do podcasts and radio.
Right.
So I
So-
started with radio, and then
Right. And I was
From
actually
that.
going to ask you, that was my next question. Where did you get started with this whole process?
Yeah, the radio. I think you were on one of them.
Yes.
The Radio Connections.
Yep, Haunted Real Connections. I got it right up there.
Yeah. So that's where I basically got my start, and then I just was kind of bummed that they pulled the plug, but I know nothing lasts forever, but
True.
but
Right.
energy does. Energy lasts forever.
That it does. But either way, that's a start. Like, that's where you got your start.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, they're asking me because I'm a nobody and I don't have the greatest voice.
Well, everybody's somebody. It's the personality that matters.
True.
That's
Oh,
true.
hi to your audience. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're good. Don't worry. They pop in every now and again. That's why you see me and Gwen. We're constantly doing this, or she waves.
Yeah.
We're saying hi to them.
Okay, I don't want to be like, no.
Oh no, we got. I will tell you who we have so far. Maybe you might have missed it, Blaine. I think you may have. I'm not sure if you've met Blaine before. Of course, we got Russ. Russ, we're so glad you're getting better. Hopefully, you're continuing
Yes.
to. We got Morgan, of course, Jeremy. We've got Morgan, Brandon Cooper. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
Didn't see that
Hey,
last
Brandon.
one. And I know we have other people who have not commented because I can actually see some of them. So,
That's
hey,
my
everybody.
name.
Yeah.
So you are also an author, right?
Yeah.
And you've written a lot of memoirs, is what I would call them.
Supernatural
Right.
and paranormal memories.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Some of
So
them
can
that
I?
deal with grief and all of them.
So-
Go ahead.
So can I ask you what made you decide to sit down and take the initiative to pen a book? I mean, actually several. I think that I saw in the bio you have at least 3.
I'm up to 26 now.
26. Well, the
Wow,
bio was
I
a little
have-
short
yeah.
on the listing there, honey.
I need to
Yeah.
update it. I thought I'd update it. Sorry.
No, I
But
knew
yeah,
I knew there was more than that, and I was sitting there looking at the list, and I'm like, I'm positive there was more than this.
Yeah, because I'm a fan of horror, especially paranormal horror.
Yeah.
So 'cause I know that they say to write what you know, and I know of that kind of background. So I'm like, well, how about adding a little bit more horror to that? So of course I put the study. My latest book, kind of just got hit on Amazon, is The Haunted Ward.
Okay.
Right, most hospitals haunted, all of them actually, because so many emotions, blood and birth and death, open doors to activity, of course.
Oh yeah. I can
Sorry.
agree with that. I wouldn't
Could
I wouldn't think that a
say-
hospital. I wouldn't think that a hospital, out of all places, I don't see why they would not be haunted.
Exactly. That's why
I
not
worked
any
in
of them.
several, and they were absolutely
see?
yes.
Yeah, I
And they
see
let
them.
you leave, Gwen?
Yes, I snuck out on the ambulance, and then I worked there for years. So how about that?
Oh, I just assumed it
Oh,
was a mental
nice.
hospital and they were trying to keep you.
Kind of snuck out of there. You know how it is.
I escaped.
Okay.
But yeah,
I like
I see no reason that a hospital wouldn't be haunted. And it's like a lot of people will tell you, well, I don't understand why a funeral home is haunted, right? The people
Exactly,
didn't
the
really
same reason.
die there. It's not the fact that anyone died at the funeral home, it's the energy input from the grieving
Yeah.
families.
Yes.
And it's the whole atmosphere, the fluorescent, when the fluorescent floors, and the
Mhm.
lighting, and the mirrors, probably mirrors. Couldn't get in on those. So.
You know what I've yet to come across though? And I don't understand it because I've seen some of the people that go in there. I've never seen a haunted Walmart.
You know, I will tell you all the story, and I've never told anybody. Lee Triana, I told her one time. I was in a Walmart near me, and I had my buggy sitting there, and I was like reaching to get something, and I looked around and glanced, and my buggy went just a little bit, and it stopped. And I was like, somebody bumped it or something. So I put my item in there, and I went just a little further down, and I know the floor was level because that's, debunking. First thing I saw, I was like, and I got something else on my list and was checking it off, and I looked up, and it went again. I was like, dang. So I looked in the mirror, and I asked the lady, could I have the video? And she let me see the video because I knew her from school. And sure enough, it just moved twice.
Huh.
Wow.
And I couldn't get the recording though. So, but that was
Of
odd.
course not.
Yeah.
Well, if I could share one of my experiences at my former work, I
Yeah.
used to work in a grocery store, right? And I've seen things fly off shelves sometimes. I would work late at night, close the store, And then one time, I even had a ghost follow me home.
Ooh.
So let's hear more about that.
That's a story in itself. I mean,
Well, let's hear it.
Usually you hear ghosts or something follow you from investigations, right? But this one followed me from my former work that I worked for 10 plus years. And let me rewind. I first saw it full apparition in the break room when I was trying to take a break.
Yeah.
And then even then they would bug me. So it's just kind of annoying after a while. But he popped right in front of my face.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're too close. So I think I scared him a little bit and he vanished. And then lo and behold, he kept messing with my hair all day. Right? Like I thought at first it was a fly or something. And when there's bugs in the store, right? When they're like,
yeah,
there's bugs and stuff in the store. I'm like, brush it off as a bug. But no,
Right.
it was consistent. Back then I had longer hair. I had bangs. I had bangs. They hit like with my hair. They're like, I'm trying to keep it neutral because I don't want to say, what is she doing?
Right.
I don't want to get fired and I can see ghosts, but anyway.
That's fair.
yeah.
That's what I was worried about too. I'm like, dude, I can't help you though.
Right.
Being customer service, I'd actually say, can I help you? So I would actually say that. I'll help you later.
And I can tell you, those are the worst ones. The ones that you're not expecting, and like say you turn around and they're just right there.
Right.
And you're like, oh, I hate that. I've had that happen twice. I mean, it doesn't necessarily bother me, but it's happened to me twice, and both times it's happened to me was when I woke up from a dead sleep and it was right there in my face.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I tell the ones that are around me, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
I've had experience poked in the bath, in my own bed, poked, like, hey, are you awake? Hey.
It's like, not yet, not now.
The one the main one I remember was when I rolled over and it was right there, and it almost was disfigured in a way. And I was told by the people that had already lived there previously that there was a spirit there that did not like men. That it would literally, it would find a way to mess with them, either move their stuff or it would poke them while they were sleeping, or you would find stuff, just out of place. I rolled over one night and it was right there, so I did the correct thing and decided to spit a loogie at a ghost.
Out of curiosity, was it a lady?
No, it was a male.
Okay.
But yeah, I spit at it.
He got mad at you after that, didn't he?
It was nonstop persistent for about 4 weeks after that, and luckily I had already looked at renting a new place, so I was moving out, so it didn't bother me.
Good.
But yeah,
for me personally, I think it was my late husband. I don't think.
Oh, the one in the where you working at? That you think it was him?
No, yeah, this is different.
Oh, okay.
When at the store, I'm sorry, I got off track.
That's okay. We do.
Yeah, after I I saw him twice. And he returned. And he was making all those banging sounds. Not the typical bangs, but real loud bangs, like bang, 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 3 times, real quickly. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, I'm like, oh man, this ghost is not gonna leave me alone. So he followed me home that night, and I told my friend, she's also an investigator. We investigated local places. One of them I'll share later on. But we had I say it's really cool EVP now, but it was really opened my eyes more after that experience. And it's just kind of funny. So, a ghost being told by another ghost, a female, mind you, and she's like, "Stop it, Frank." And she knew he was playing with my hair all day. I think we call it the jealous girlfriend EVP.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I like it. I like it.
Oh gosh, we laugh at it now, but the experience, it was crazy.
Oh, I can imagine at the point in time, it was a little bit perturbing.
Yeah.
So
I
when
still
you
can't
go,
find that video. I'm gonna try to find it now.
oh, it'll come up when you least expect it.
Yeah, it will.
Hopefully.
So, how did you
I
get
think
rid
I
of him? Or did you just ask him to leave? And he,
Yeah. I tell her, if you can leave, feel free to leave, because I don't think I have nothing for you right now.
Fair.
I think all he needed was acknowledgement that I could see him, and he just crossed over after that.
Sometimes it's all they want.
it is.
And I purposely ignored them to make them stay longer.
I felt bad because I did want to help him, find his peace. And I felt he came to me as like, I didn't know really what to do back then.
Well, let me
Nice.
rephrase. Because Gwen knows
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I don't purposely ignore them to make them stay longer. I purposely ignore them because I think it's the house settling, or I'm all around the skeptical thinking about it.
Right?
He is still skeptical about a lot of stuff. So,
As I should be.
yeah, well, I think everybody should be just a little bit. I mean, what do you call it? Oh my goodness.
Boundaries.
Yeah, something but verify. Come on, help me, Nate. You're my other part of my brain sometimes.
I'm drawing a blank here, though.
It'll come to us in a minute. Confirm but verify.
Or
No,
later tonight. Oh, that's what it was.
oh, that's what it was. Yeah, and I'll message you guys. This is what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I know exactly what you're talking about. For some reason, it's just not popping into my head.
Yeah.
I would think confirm, verify, confirm and verify, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Something like
Verify.
that. Yeah.
Love it, right?
Yeah. So
So
I
you-
want to know about your experience at the mines. Nate
Yes.
brought it up earlier, and I saw it, and now I have to hear a story. Can you give us a story?
Yeah, there's a lot of walking in those areas, so I'm glad I'm wearing my hiking boots.
Oh yeah.
Not high heels, ladies. I always say that.
Fair. Did they at least let you? Did they at least let you go for a ride in the mine cart? Because I think that would be awesome.
No, unfortunately, I forgot to ask that.
Man.
But we had to take a picture by one.
Yeah. Isn't that the
That
picture
one I
that's on
showed
the?
you.
Yeah. Isn't that the one on the ad? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like any other Jones there. But they said what really caught my attention was they said I don't need one of those miner's caps, but I insisted to have one because of my height. They said I
Yeah,
need
it's a
one.
smart move, anyways.
Yeah, it is.
Anytime you're in that kind of a confined space, it's always a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
How
have
tall
to-
are you, Nicole? How tall are you?
I'm barely 5 foot. I'm like 4'11".
Yeah. I'm not the shortest one on the podcast now. I'm 5'4". So, yeah. Yay. No.
Yeah, I don't think I'd fit too well in there.
How tall are you, Nate? I mean, I've stood next to
Me?
you, but Are you-
So I have a back issue, so I hunch over a little bit. But if I stood up straight, I'm about 6'1.5" inches.
That's the same height as my brother.
Yeah, so I don't think I'd fit in that mine very well if you were worried
That's
about wearing a
somewhere-
hard hat.
Speaking to my brother, that's where he lives in Sacramento, North, California.
Nice.
And when we got inside, he's like, "Oh, did you know this is haunted?" I'm like, "Thanks." But I was
Look, it's
just
always
random
nice.
picture.
It's always nice to have that connection, at least that's within the state, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was surprised he was even open to it, But yeah, he took me there. My brother did, and
Oh, nice.
my stepdad was in that picture. And
Nice.
I felt some kind of heaviness from time to time, that
Mhm.
energy, and it probably residual energy, if anything. You
So
know,
that you know of, was there any kind of tragedy attached to that mine, or do you know any of the history of it?
no, I didn't really do any major research. Now I'm curious. We'll do that tonight.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm curious as well. Because if you're feeling that heaviness, it almost makes me feel as though something may have happened there. It might not have been anything major, but let's face it, it's a mine. Those were dangerous places to work. I'm
Mhm.
They
certain
are.
that I'm certain something occurred in there that has to be documented somewhere.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
took
not too
some random
many that.
pictures.
Yeah.
I should have shared with that because one of the other pictures looked like a shadow person hanging, like sitting down, hanging like on a step or
Interesting.
something.
It is. It
I
very
do
much
love
is.
I do love me a good shadow person picture.
If I find it, I'll share it again.
Yeah,
Yes,
please
please
do.
do.
Yeah.
So you also do a podcast called Mystic Whispers, correct?
Yeah.
So can you
Yeah,
tell us more
Mr. Whipper
about
Podcast.
can you tell us about that show and what people can expect if they tune in to listen to that?
Sure, it's about um, live interviews like what you guys do
Hmm.
from time to time. And like last time we got to interview an action actor from Hollywood. He does like, he reminds me of Jackie Khan type of action actor.
Nice.
John Azuna, I highly recommend him. And I try to get different individuals on a show and share their experiences. And also, I like to spread awareness of the things that we fear the most in the paranormal or don't understand,
Nice. Because there's
and
so
my
much that people,
experiences.
yeah, because there's so much that people still don't know and don't understand. I did
Right.
see that comment. I think it was from YouTube, by the way,
Yeah,
about
that. Yeah.
about mules being more valuable than the people, and that's very true. And it was the same way at the Sloss Furnaces back in Birmingham, Alabama, when that was open.
I
The
remember that.
Sloss Furnaces, the basically the owner of Sloss Furnace and the foreman, they had a saying that said, "Kill a man, we hire another one. Kill a mule, we have to buy another one. So don't kill a mule because they cost $5."
I never did that.
That's
That was literally what they would tell everyone in their
Mhm.
orientation. And their average death rate was 2 people a day.
Wow.
Two people. Wow, you guys.
A
So I
day.
think when we got to the mine, we were the only ones there. So it's like, I was kind of nervous if we didn't have a guide or nothing. So I get lost easily. I would be like, what? They'd be like, where the hell is she lost?
She'll find her way back. It's fine.
Well, at least you had somebody there with you.
Yeah.
So if you get lost easily, just a friendly reminder: never go into the Paris catacombs
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's
because
on
you
my
won't
bucket
find your
list.
way out of there.
It's on my bucket list.
I feel like
Well,
that should be on everyone's bucket list.
that would be interesting. I tell you, and Nathaniel always gives me crap about it, but my major number one bucket list is to go to Scotland, and I would love to travel around and just, I mean, because can you imagine over there all the things? So,
Oh yeah.
Oh
If
yeah.
I go to Scotland, I'm camping out on Loch Ness. I'm gonna try and get me a Nessie sighting. Is what I'm gonna do.
oh, how
I have a
awesome would that
mutual
be?
friend that she lives in Scotland, and she's done research and tours around Loch Ness. I'm trying to get her myself.
That would be
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would just like to see it once before I die.
Same
Just like
here.
I'd like to see Romania once before I die and go to Transylvania.
Yeah.
There could be a prehistoric animals like that. What do you call those birds? Prehistoric birds. That's like
There's
Oh, the pterodactyls?
yeah. I
That
believe
it-
I experienced that here.
Really?
Even though I haven't seen a Bigfoot, but they're known to be sightings out here in California too. Because in Sacramento, probably especially, there's of the many trees.
Oh, that is true. I forgot about that. California does have a legend about a pteranodon, which is a type of petrosaur, which is also known as what you were naming it as, Gwen, a pterodactyl.
Right. When I didn't really see the body, but I saw its shadow. You
Ooh.
know, like, well, I'm afraid to look up.
And then
I
when you
had
go
dreams.
down, and then when you go down to the lower California area, when you hit around the area of Arizona, you have the legend of the Thunderbird, which is quite similar.
Right. And UFOs. I've seen captured UFOs out here.
You have?
Mhm.
Oh, interesting. Were you at home in that area,
Oh
or
yeah,
were you?
usually my backyard and the area itself. We are by what do you call it? Hotspot activity where
Yeah.
they you know are known to have more sightings in it. I could walk up to it. That's how close it is.
So are you in Northern or Southern California?
Southern.
Southern. Okay, so you're nowhere near like San Diego Training Base for the Marines.
Right.
You're on the opposite side.
By Queen Mary. I've been in Queen Mary.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So have you ever been to Alcatraz?
Yes, I have.
Oh, cool.
Super jealous. What was it like?
Even though it's not an
Me too.
investigation, but in my heart it was. We had to tour around. We took the little boat. That kind of made me nervous because, you know, the little boat on the ocean always makes me nervous.
That's
Oh
fair.
yeah.
But we made it. I felt quite a few habits in some areas I couldn't even enter back then. You know, and my ability was just starting to develop. So I
Yeah,
think now I probably could, but yeah, back then.
Yeah, because I know that there's a lot of places on Alcatraz that are still off limits to the public. You can't go.
Right.
Matter of fact, my daughter made me super jealous. My daughter at 18 got to go and visit Alcatraz last year, and she didn't take me with her, which I owe her a whooping for that. But
I'm always like, where's my invite?
Yeah.
well, they were going on a family trip with the ex and her boyfriend and stuff. So yeah, obviously I wouldn't get an invite for that.
Right.
But
Not likely.
that'd be a little awkward.
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, a little awkward. Oh, who's this? Oh, well, this is my my girlfriend's ex-husband, and he's here. Why?
Hey,
Yes.
I'll tell you, with my ex-husband, with his his second wife, because I was the first one, we actually used to try for the kids to go on vacations, and we've had some incidences where they'd be like, "Well, who is this?" And he'd be like, "Well, this is my current wife, and this is my ex-wife," and they would look at us and basically just turn around and leave. So, yeah, interesting.
But yeah, no, I've always wanted to go to Alcatraz, and I assume being in
I
California.
recommend it.
Well,
Hello.
trust me, if I ever make a trip to California, there's two places I'm knocking off the list, and I have to assume you've been to the second one as well. If you haven't, I'm highly disappointed. Please tell me you've been to the Winchester Mystery Mansion.
No, what? I'm sorry.
The Winchester Mystery Mansion.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Ah,
I've been
jealous.
there.
Is it as confusing as people say it is?
Very. You know me, because I mentioned I get lost easily.
Mhm.
If we didn't have a tour guide, I'd be still in there.
Or walked out of one of the doors that open up to nowhere with a 10-foot,
nowhere.
15-foot drop.
Oh
And the
no.
bathroom that don't work, but they have one that we can use. But I saw what caught my attention was they didn't have a piano, but there's a broken organ, and it still apparently plays from time to time.
Huh.
And I'm like, oh, should I play that? And I really like to play things at the haunted place. I don't know. But
Are you one of those
so I-
people that if you go into a haunted place and there's a piano, you have to hit the keys?
Yeah, exactly. So I play the piano. Sometimes they let me, sometimes no, you know. Like, a lot of places don't like you taking pictures, especially at Winchester.
Oh,
But
really?
I finally got the opportunity to at least take photographs during that tour. So I was like, oh, phew, I felt like so much to do.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of places like that. They don't allow photographs if you're taking a tour.
I don't know why. You would
I believe
think
Alcatraz is the same way. I believe on Alcatraz you couldn't take photos within the building. You could take photos on the way to it, but you can't take photos within it.
but I
Really?
did anyway.
Whoop. Good for you. You know what? Now they make the glasses that you can. So just, yeah,
Prop
that'd
them
be a
on
good
there.
idea. Yep. That would be, see, I want a pair of those like really bad for
Is
stuff
that
like
just
that.
because you can't see, Gwen, or do you really want a pair of glasses?
No, I want a pair of the AI glasses because of stuff like that. Because I mean,
mean the
you know,
ghost
if you
glasses?
have that thing running, because how many times? I mean, just me, I have missed stuff. You know, just because I didn't have the camera up or I didn't have, you know, somebody. But if you're looking at it and you're facing it, and I mean, you're going to see it. That would be awesome. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to wear a camera on my forehead. I'd be to knock my head off from something.
That I can understand that. I mean, if I were to wear a camera on any part, I'd go for the POV chest unit, just because they're more comfortable.
I do have a couple of
I got
those.
the flashlight one.
Yeah, but I would knock my head off on something. I'm not
Legit.
super clumsy, but I would. I know
No, legit, she would.
I would. And I have the ones that you put on your chest, and you know, it doesn't honestly if I'm in because I'm short, so I don't pick up every.
You know, I always say, you know, police body cams have one. Why don't we have one? Paranormal body cam.
Well, they do, but some of them are the really good ones are really expensive.
They are.
They
They are.
I have ones that aren't. I have one that was like an older version of a police when they, you know, you get them at the auctions
I'm
and stuff
sorry,
like that.
I like to watch that show. I had to read it.
Okay, now this is Lynn Dorman. Love you, Lynn. And he was telling me my hair looked nice. Thank you, Lynn. But then he makes the remark that women should have 2 cameras on their chest, and I'm leaving it there. So,
Lynn.
We can't flash you. Sorry.
yeah, sorry, Lynn. It's not one of them shows, man. Sorry.
Oh.
Nicole
Lynn,
knows
Lynn.
him. I think has he been on your show? And you've been
yeah.
on?
You
Okay,
guys
yeah.
need to come back. You need to come on show.
Who, me or him?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh well, yeah. We'll have to set it up. I tell you.
That was I would have to say, out of all of the episodes of this show that I have done, even with multiple guests that I was expecting hate speech for, that's the worst comment we've ever got.
We've not, yeah. Well, you know, I do hide them sometimes too because I can block them off. We've had a couple, because you know, Nathaniel has the resting bitch face, and you know, I've had the banner up, ready. You know, resting bitch face, yes, but also sometimes he can rub a little bit wrong for some folks because he's talking the truth, and he doesn't mind who knows it. You know,
And I really don't.
no, he doesn't. All right, let's see, Jeremy. And Jeremy, I always say your name wrong. I don't know why.
That's a good point. It's Preston Castle.
Yeah. So he said, I don't know. Nicole, can you see it? Preston Castle?
Yeah. I've heard of it, but I haven't been there yet. But it's on my bucket list. But one time I have to go to the Sally house.
Nice.
Because the elder back then used to know I was training my cousin. So I should have got there back then. I was so mad at myself. And you know, when you're working, we can't just take off, right?
Right.
So that didn't fall in, but.
So I assume since you said you were, since you says blah.
There you go.
So I assume since you're in the area, you've been to the RMS Queen Mary.
Yes.
So what is that like?
I always say, my grandparents got to work on the Queen Mary. And there goes my voice. And they used to work on the Queen Mary ship in their engine room. And they tell me stories about the little ghost girl. Apparently that's still one of their specters. Still there.
Interesting.
The only way I was able to see her was through remote view. But the other people that experienced her told me about their experiences. And I even had a tour guide tell me one time, and she pulled me aside and said, you know what's really scary that one time, and not during our tour, but she said she was actually levitated and thrown, like literally thrown across the room.
Oh, wow.
and that impacted her so much. She had to quit. She couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, I can tell you that if I go to California, that's the 3 places on my list, and I add Preston Castle now because that was a good pull. I forgot about that.
Now, Blaine is Haunted Syndicate. That's one of Blaine. He says go to Old Town in San Diego. Have you been there?
Been there. Old Missionary and everything.
Nice.
So is it actually old or is it just called Old Town?
Probably both, I would say. You know, when I was little, I didn't know that was haunted. We would just go there and just, just go hiking and stuff. I like
Right.
to
So
hike.
what other places have you been to outside of California?
Maui, Florida. I would tell you about Florida. I've had experience with another ghost in Florida.
I love
I tell
Florida.
you, they follow me.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Lynn is saying.
He said he'd love to check out the Queen Mary, but he doesn't think he'll ever get out there, sad to say. One of the very few things in Cali he'd like to see, and that's fair. You know, it's on my list. I've done the USS Constitution, I've done the USS Salem battleship, but I've yet to do the RMS
I
Queen
would
Mary.
like to go there. And you
It's
know
been
what?
on my list.
I got to go to the pool area a few times before it was closed. So,
Nice. Oh, the Whaley House. That's another good one, Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy's been there. Have you been there? The Whaley House?
No, but I've seen it from a distance.
Okay.
We didn't quite have time to do everything, unfortunately.
Look, if you've seen it from a distance, like if you've physically seen it, I chalked it up to you've been there.
Yeah. But the Queen Mary, I got to enter the most haunted rooms, and you're allowed to stay in and actually investigate overnight. But there's a waiting list.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But at least we got to enter those rooms. And let me tell you, immediately I was picking up energy, and the people that were there investigating, they brought their equipment around me, and it was going off like crazy. I'm like, I told you.
So let me ask you this, because I know the RMS Queen Mary was made popular by most paranormal people who know what it is by certain TV shows, right?
Right.
When it comes to television shows portraying the paranormal, such as reality shows, not naming any of them by name, do you think they are a help to the field or are they a hindrance?
Probably
Or could it be a little bit of both?
Yeah. More on the entertainment side, I would say.
Because I feel like it gives so many people false impressions as to what paranormal investigating actually is.
It's like, I wouldn't recommend watching, if I may name a couple of those adventures, I like for entertainment, maybe. So,
Yeah,
I got to
I just want to see. I just want to see where he's going to put Aaron at by himself again. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that is kind of, yeah, I got you there. Yeah.
And like Destination Fear or Destination Truth, I love. Or Destination Fear, I love Destination Fear.
Project Fear.
Yeah, Project Fear now, but I love them. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But once again, is it one of those shows that's more entertainment value? Perhaps. But they have presented some pretty good stuff.
They have.
Why have it at night? The Destination Fear factor at night. And it's more quieter, I would say.
I wish they would bring back MTV, just to bring back like the original MTV, to bring back that old show Fear, where they took those people who didn't want to be involved. Yeah, when they didn't want to be involved, they put them in a body cam and just stuck them in the most haunted places in the world, just let them free roam.
I would do it. I would totally volunteer.
Oh, I'd be down.
Oh, all of us would, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, send us over there. But the problem was they purposely picked people that wanted nothing to do with the paranormal.
I missed that show.
And strapped them up with a body cam and said, "Hey, go wander off in this old haunted building by yourself."
I watched that show too. And Ghost Hunters is a good one.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
Yeah.
The OG Ghost Hunters. The newer rendition was okay, but
the first 3 seasons I think were my favorite. I think.
That's fair.
It like anything, like any show, even scripted shows. I mean, they change through time, and I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it was the newness of it, even though they weren't brand new to it. Maybe it was the newness to everybody. But
And that could be. Who knows?
yeah.
Yeah, the scripts are alright. For me, I personally use script show for my podcast. Because
Oh
I would
well.
get off track. No, we're getting older. I'm like, okay, I'll be talking about something, I'll jump into something else. I call them my show notes. That way it
And
won't
that's
get off track.
and that's okay because, like I told you in the pre-show, I typically have a list of questions. But
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, what happens is I'll start asking questions. You know what
It'll
happens to this list? It does this.
Yeah.
You can burn it. You can burn it.
That's literally what happens 80% of the time because I realize at the end of the show, I'm like, well, crap, I didn't have to ask half of what I wanted to ask.
Wasn't important, I always say.
But that's what makes for a fun show, though.
It does. It
So,
does.
so I did have one question for you because this one really intrigued me. Okay, so you recently became a certified demonologist.
Yes.
So how does one become a certified demonologist online? I'm really curious about how this process works.
And being a female, that's very rare, right? So I thought, well, why not? Because I'm female, and I come across these really cool ladies on, I took their course, and it's like, I learned quite a bit. Of course, they had really good course and everything about the darker nature and paranormal, and we had our own set of rights. There is sect order, Joan of Arc, Catholic. I was hoping I said it right from the top of my head, but
It
yeah,
sounds right.
yeah. So I decided to learn more about I would say, the adversary, because I always good to know your enemy was up to, was,
Right.
how we can protect ourselves. It's not that we worship the enemy, we try to protect and hinder what they're doing and bring awareness, like I said earlier, bring awareness about what they are and what they could be. And I'm sure there's different religions and faiths like that, and even I can't think Satanists, yeah.
Oh
but
yeah.
but we're far beyond that. We are more of a religious demonologists. We're on a lighter side, I would say.
Gotcha.
We work for the light.
Right.
That's
So
why we prefer religious demonologists. If I may add on, I always say that the quickest way to say it is, the exorcists, they have their own set of rights, right? And we might be able to aid the exorcist if we have our own rights and prayers. But I don't think
right.
we have that. Well, as Christians, we do have that authority, but we are not ordained to have that authority to exercise as the California exorcist would.
Right. Because when it comes to exorcists, they technically have two different rights they use. They use the minor rights and the major rights.
Right.
And so just because, and I think this is where a lot of people get confused whenever they hear someone say the term demonologist, I'm a demonologist. A lot of people automatically assume, oh, so you're able to exorcise demons.
Right. No,
That's not the way it works.
It's merely a study of demons.
Correct. It's not the way it works. And I think a lot of
Right.
people get that really misconstrued.
It is confusing.
It is, but they hear that word and they're like, oh, so you can exorcise demons. No, that's an exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And an exorcist has to be ordained by the church.
Just think of a teacher, and we're like the teacher's aide, but we're the exorcist's aide.
Right.
Kind of thing.
So throughout your journey in the paranormal, do you think you've ever come across something that's non-human?
I'm sorry, you said it.
Oh, you're good. So through your journey through the paranormal, do you think you've ever come across something that's non-human?
Yes, several times.
So
I've seen them in form, and even I've seen, if I may say, the devil, of course, and I've seen Jesus, but only in my dreams I've seen Jesus, but the devil I've seen in real life, from time to time, ever since I was younger.
Interesting.
he would appear to me in different forms. Isn't that weird?
Well,
The
not
most,
really, because if you think about it through, if you go back through the mythology of Christianity, realistically, the
Mhm.
devil technically is a trickster. He can appear in
that's
many
true.
different forms.
Yep.
The funniest one I find funny is when he appeared to me when I was younger, and he looked like a cartoon, like that red devil with the four.
Yeah,
That's what he appeared to me as when
yeah,
I was
yeah. He
younger.
looked like the little hot stuff devil is what they used to call it. It was hot
Yeah.
stuff. It was the devil with the
Yeah,
little.
that. If I could have AI create it, it would look just like that.
Interesting.
And I've seen a gin before. I don't know, been, you know, curious. Well, I'm curious about them too. I think because I'm so open, I might be opening doors to other entities.
And that's very possible. And jinns are they're not
Very
as
rare.
common as people think. But it's kind of complicated. So let me word it like this: they're not as common as people think if you don't study that specific religion.
Right.
But to people who study that religion, they're a lot more common than what they would appear to the normal person.
And I've seen them as well in my waking life.
I can't say that I think in my 18 years of doing this that I've ever come across anything that I would deem non-human. Um,
I always
I
say, okay,
oh no, go ahead.
I always say they're not pretty.
That's fair. No, what
They're
happened there
not.
was I was mid
They're not
thought and I
pretty.
was I was buffering.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I will tell you this, Blaine, Rohan, he actually has his story on Monster Quest is about a djinn he encountered overseas when he was serving in the military. So I don't know, maybe
Thank you
check
for
that
your
out.
service.
Yes, but yeah, you might want to go check that out. It's season 5, episode
Okay.
2. It's the very last story. You
It,
might,
wa- it was it was a good episode. The whole episode was
yes,
good.
oh yeah, they're doing
I have
awesome.
to look into that.
Yeah, do. And Lee Triana and myself both have a story on this season also. So everybody go check it out. But if you want to know about a gin, um,
Because
that
they're very
was,
rare, right, in the States. They're very rare out here. But
yeah.
in, like, other countries, they're more,
Hmm.
like, broader known.
I
That's what
think
I'm told. I'm no expert, but his hearing him tell the story before he filmed or anything, it was intense. And then seeing what he saw because the AI effects, of course, they had to do AI because I mean,
yeah.
you know,
You
but
know
it's
how
very
he
good.
appeared? You know how it appeared to me? It's quite funny, too. You know, I've
How?
seen Aladdin. You know, I've seen Aladdin, the
Yeah.
Hmm.
cartoon one. Exactly that he appeared to me as that. That's
Interesting.
what it reminds me of.
Well, it is interesting, but at the same sense, technically a jinn. A lot of people call them evil genies.
Yeah.
And they are also known, unless they're intentionally trying to frighten you, they can appear in multiple different forms. Most
Hmm.
commonly animals, but they can also appear as things that you can physically relate to, so you're not afraid of them to kind of gain that trust.
Yep.
Right. And
So that makes
if I may
sense.
add, sorry, do we
It's
have
okay.
enough time? Um, I have this, what I call prankster spirit, and he still tries to scare me. It's funny, actually. one
Oh.
time, one time when I just walked back in my room, and it's like, I have 2 houses. So the front house I stay in, this is my studio. And, so I was just walking back in my room. All of a sudden I would hear like, boo! I was like, okay, nice try, bud.
I I I love it when people you know. It wasn't a ghost that did it to me. It was Alan Rex that tried to get me when I was at Wilson Castle. We're out there investigating in the attic, and he comes up behind me. I guess he didn't think, which I did not hear him for the record. He stomped his foot on the floor and pretty much yelled in my ear, "What are you doing?" And I kind of turned calmly and looked at him. I was like, "Well, I assume the same thing you are." And he was like, "Damn, how did you not jump?"
Right, people would even try to scare me, I never know. I've been
Look,
through a lot of crazy things, so, you know.
right, and over time, like I don't know how else to explain this to people who have not been in the field for a long time. you're always going to have some moment that's going to make you jump. But for the most part, you kind of become desensitized to the activity in a
Right.
way.
Yep.
There
You
is
do.
one thing that made me jump actually. This is shortly after my late husband passed. Um, so he's a kind of like, don't mess with my stuff, type thing. So I was just putting away his clothes and in a big, one of the big containers, kind of like a box, but it's containers.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, it just started to shake real violently.
Huh.
Nothing else was moving. Out here in California, we get them earthquakes, right? We get quakes all the time.
Right.
No, not in
Nothing,
California.
nothing was moving except for that container. And that thing was huge. And had
Interesting.
stuff in it. And I'm like, okay, I know it's you. I'm just putting things away so that way they won't be thrown out and then it stopped.
Interesting. I mean,
He
yeah,
just
because
visited me.
This
I
is
hear-
Blaine also, you guys. I'm sorry. He's good at throat punching.
you know what? Challenge accepted.
Oh, don't challenge it. Blaine's a big guy, I'm telling you.
Oh, I think I can hold my own.
What I
You
missed.
could dodge really well too. No.
Oh, yeah. But guys, I see we got about 2 minutes left, ladies. And so that hour went by very quick.
It did.
Oh, it did.
Thank you,
so-
Nicole, very much. For
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much. So
I am
I
glad-
always
thank
end
you.
off. Yes. I mean, I am so happy you came on to help us celebrate Women's History Month with the women involved in the paranormal. So I thank you for that.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And I always end my podcast with 3 specific questions. So after I ask these 3 questions, what I'm going to ask is you hang in the background for about 5 minutes. Me and Gwen are going to
Sure.
close out the show, and then
Sure.
we'll be right back there. But final 3 questions. I feel like everyone in the paranormal has a bucket list. You have one place in the world that you can travel to, all expenses paid, where you're going to investigate.
I would say Ireland or Scotland.
Okay. So you're going to Ireland. You can take one person with you. They can be alive or dead and do not have to be involved in the paranormal. Who are you bringing with you and why?
I would say my dad. 'Cause he, I know he's kind of open to it, but yeah, I just miss his company.
That's fair. I like that answer. So we're going to Ireland. You're bringing your dad.
I'm
So
part
you can
Irish,
only-
that's why.
You can only bring one piece of equipment with you. Your abilities aside, because they're inherent. They're part of you.
I would say
What-
me.
What piece of equipment are you bringing with you and why?
Spirit Box 7.
Okay,
That's
any
where
specific?
I got the most profound Class 8 EDT all the time.
That's a good answer. So we got
Yeah.
Ireland with your father with an SB7. I like it. So once again, Nicole, thank you so much for coming on the show for an hour. I really enjoyed having you.
Sure. Thank you.
And if you, yes, no, not a problem at all. It's me thanking you. So if you wouldn't mind just hanging out in the background for about 5 minutes, me and Gwen are going to close out the show, and we'll be right
sure, I
back
don't
there.
mind. Thank you
Okay,
guys. Thank you,
thank
Gwen.
you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome, honey.
Nathaniel.
You're welcome.
All right.
Gwen, I feel like that was an awesome show. I definitely had a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Got to hear about some stuff in California who, we don't always get to do that. So
Right. No, it's very rare that I could talk to someone on the other side of the US. So, hearing about different places there, and I don't know how I didn't think of the Whaley House before Jeremy jumped on me and was like, hey, you forgot the Whaley House. He didn't actually say that, but I'm just giving him a hard time.
well, that's
But,
why we have our regulars and our friends who go, hey, you
Oh,
missed this one, man. You missed it.
Oh yeah, but no, I don't know how I didn't think of the Whaley House because that place has been on my bucket list. It's like it's in my top 5, so I don't know how I forgot it. But it was definitely a very fun show. It was awesome. But everyone, thank you all for tuning in. Gwen, I know you got another show to get to. You got Jeremy Cotter coming up, and if I'm not mistaken, he's got Jeremy Brunson coming on.
He does.
Tonight.
So guys, don't miss it. 9:30 right here. And
Yep.
who do we have next week?
Next week we have Leanna Renee Hyber. So author, very, very knowledgeable woman. As a matter of fact, as I showed Gwen earlier, one of her books actually is holding up because I'm prepared for next week so we can talk about this book.
Yes.
But so that's going to be a great show. But everyone, thank you all for tuning in. for this episode of the Paranormal Unveiled podcast on a Wicked Wednesday. Be sure to stay tuned for Jeremy Cotter's Twisted Tales with Jeremy Brunton. And I will see you all next week. Same spooky time, same spooky network. Have a good one.